This video has been sponsored by Toyota. This is the moon. And this is the all-new 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, which Toyota loaned me to make an expedition to the moon. I mean, just look at this machine. We've got power. We've got cameras. We've got the look. That's important, by the way. Rule number 1 of adventures is to always look cool. Anyways, if I am going to make it to the moon today, and I will make it to the moon today, this is definitely the vehicle to take me there. Oh, and you didn't think I was going alone, did you?
This is Chloe.
An experienced off-roader and taco expert.
Do you like tacos? I love tacos. Tacos are my favorite thing to drive. Oh, you were talking about the food tacos. Yeah. I like those too. What's your favorite kind of taco? The food. Food taco. Ooh, carnitas. Are they better in a taco? Absolutely. You have to have tacos on Tuesdays in a taco.
She's also my new friend, who I have never met in my entire life. Toyota asked us if we wanted to go on an adventure together in America's best-selling midsize pickup for the last 19 years, and I said, sign me up. That sounds like the greatest idea I've ever heard. And here we are. As I was doing research for this video so that I don't look like a complete dork out here, there were a few words that kept coming up in regards to the vehicles: suspension, clearance, visibility, and traction. And I think if we're going to get to the moon later on, I better have a good understanding of at least those 4 things. So we're going to get out on the trails, learn a bit more, and hopefully wind up at the moon, or a very lunar landscape.
Okay, Chloe, I think we should start with traction because without traction, we are going absolutely nowhere. Although maybe we should start with suspension. We're hitting some washboard right now. Yeah. So maybe talk about suspension for a second instead. Well, with these washboard roads, you know, the suspension is cycling at pretty high speed compression. So what's nice is we got Fox Quick Switch 3 shocks. Okay. And Quick Switch 3 means there's 3 different settings. So there's a full soft setting, which is great for on-road use because you want your truck to be comfortable when you're driving on road, right? Makes sense. Yep. There's a medium setting, and then you have a stiffer setting.
And not only can we adjust our ride from the outside of the vehicle, we also have the ability to tune our ride from inside the cabin with the new isodynamic performance front seats.
Having this is a really, really nice feature for off-road. They keep you nice and locked in. And also, we're covering lots and lots of miles here on off-road. So we definitely don't want to get too much fatigue. And these are helping to stabilize my eyes and not make me too tired, even though, yeah, we're covering a lot of distance. And before we go back to traction, one last thing with suspension. You mentioned yesterday, I think one of my favorites is probably the stabilizer bar disconnect. Oh, yeah. So how does that help us out? Well, when you're driving on road, you definitely want to have an intact sway bar because you don't want to get too much body roll. You want to keep all 4 wheels on the road. However, you're trying to do the opposite off-road. You want the maximum amount of travel and articulation. So by disconnecting the sway bar with the push of a button in the Tacoma, you get that. It's really the best of both worlds.
We could go on and on about suspension, but a large component of suspension we have not talked about also ties in with our next topic, traction, and that is the multi-link rear suspension with coil springs. Not only will the multi-link rear suspension with coil springs help maximize articulation, but we will also see enhanced traction. Of course, traction is much more than this. It's an art, and Toyota has truly turned that art into technology with this Tacoma. At the most basic level, this Tacoma TRD Pro is sitting on 33-inch tires, which we can adjust the pressure of to maximize traction on and off-road. We also have the iForce Max hybrid powertrain that is ready to deliver 326 maximum horsepower and 465 pound-feet of low-end torque, which is going to give us plenty of control when we are navigating trails off-road. The Tacoma also offers multi-terrain select, which monitors and adjusts throttle response, brake pressure, and active traction control settings to improve traction and grip to match the terrain, whether we are on sand, mud, rock, or a combination. We're getting closer to the moon, so it's a good thing we only have 2 more topics to cover: clearance and visibility. And I better hurry because Chloe's about to walk me through another obstacle. Clearance is a bit more straightforward than our previous topics. More clearance equals more off-roading capability. And while the Tacoma offers 11 inches of running ground clearance that allowed us to tackle obstacles yesterday, I'm learning today just how important visibility is.
What do we need to think about whenever we go up hills?
So you definitely want to make sure you're picking your line before you go over the top. And it's helpful to make sure that whatever is over the top, you have the best visibility you can. So here you can see it goes flat and kind of curves to the right.
Okay.
So that's you can have some foresight about what to do after we get up there, because as you can see, as we're coming up right now, your hood kind of in the sky. Thankfully, with the multi-terrain monitor and the cameras, you're able to see the line of sight and you tackle that no problem.
We've covered a lot of ground, both in knowledge and distance. But
If you look out our windows, it looks like those red rocks are no longer red. They've kind of turned a bit gray. And if it means what I think it does, it means that we've officially landed on the moon! Oh my gosh, I love it. It's been several days of driving on a variety of off-road trails, and I have learned so much from Chloe. But I could not be more excited to be here right now. This was our end goal, and with Chloe's help and this trusty Tacoma, we've made it. We have indeed made it.
also, you should know that by this point in the journey, we have spent so much time with this Tacoma, we have lovingly named it Terrence.
What do you think of this spot? Wow.
Alright, that is enough of the view. It is time to get to work because it's getting windier by the minute, and I don't know if you've ever set up a tent in the wind, but it's sort of like trying to herd cats. Corral a tornado, catch smoke with your bare hands, shadow box a ghost. Hopefully one of those gave you a mental picture of what we're working with. Chloe and I absolutely crushed this tent setup. The whole process took us precisely 10 minutes and 8 seconds, even with the wind, which I am personally very proud of. Hashtag one take wonders. The hardest part was trying to get the tents level, which would have been easy if we were in Terrence because the multi-terrain monitor tells us when we are level. However, we are not in Terrence and our internal levels are not nearly as good, so we moved the tents around a fair amount. And while we're talking about camp spots, Chloe and I made sure that in addition to having some level-ish spots for our tents, that we were also in a designated camp area where others had been before, so that we could tread lightly on this beautiful landscape. Some of you are probably thinking, that looks super uncomfortable, and that celebratory clap was a little early because there's nothing in those tents except a whole bunch of weights, like rocks, because we need weight so they don't go flying.
That orange one ain't going anywhere.
Oh, I'm cracking up. Come on, Overlander. So what tip is this?
You're wondering where the music went, aren't you? Terrence has us covered for that. I went ahead and chose this music because I felt it was fitting for what you're about to witness. Chloe and I still need to inflate our mattresses, but luckily, you guessed it, Terrence has a 2400 watt inverter, so it made quick work of that. One more time for the clap because we're actually done this time, and also a short view intermission / appreciation moment because it's pretty here. So I've been keeping a secret from Chloe since the very start of this trip. As you all know, we have been trying to quote unquote land on the moon. And now that we have successfully done so and we have our camp all set up, I feel like it's only fitting to enjoy the surprise. Stop! No way! Hey, go ahead and try it.
Oh my gosh. Sandwich.
Have you ever had one of these before?
I have not. Oh, it's even wrapped.
It's probably crumbling. I'm sorry.
How does that taste like an ice cream sandwich? That's so good. That is it. This is the best.
Cheers.
Cheers.
As I looked up in the sky, I noticed it was a full moon tonight, and that seemed especially fitting as we spent the evening reminiscing on the journey to get to this lunar camp spot. And I can say for certain that tonight, my heart feels just like this moon.